Today, I'm going to talk about my thesis project, which is designing an application for adolescents with type 1 diabetes to help them manage their type 1 diabetes and also address the mental health issues that arise while living with it. So, just a brief introduction. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition that usually happens in children and young adults. And in this condition, the body doesn't produce any insulin, which is a hormone that we all need in order to live. And there are currently no cure for it. Type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes are actually very different from each other, and they need different sort of care in order to manage them. In type 1 diabetes, the body doesn't produce any insulin at all, but in type 2, the body still produces some insulin, but also becomes resistant to that insulin. And in type 1 diabetes, the body is completely dependent on insulin injection, but in type 2, it's usually manageable with oral medication. So in our today's digital age, there have been so many amazing innovations for managing type 1 diabetes, like insulin pumps or continuous glucose monitors or CGMs. And they all help make our lives much easier. But living with type 1 diabetes could still be a lot of work because we have to calculate the carbs for every meal that we have to take, and then based on that, calculate how much insulin we have to take. And so many things can affect the blood sugar level in the body, like stress, the type of food that we're eating, or even exercise. So all of this care could have a huge mental toll on the person, and it could become a tedious process and make the patient want to give up, but you cannot give up with type 1 diabetes. So for my target audience, I chose adolescents because this is a very sensitive age and they're going through so many changes, like hormonal changes. Um, they're going from having their parents manage their type 1 diabetes to become independent in managing it themselves. So for my first phase of research, I went through a number of journal papers for my literature review in order to identify the research gap. And the research gap that I identified was that there is a need for digital tools that not only help in managing the medical aspects of type 1 diabetes in adolescents, but also address the holistic well-being, especially the emotional and mental health support for them. So my research questions are, how can we effectively use graphic design principles to create this application? What key features are critical for making these applications for my target audience? And also, how can we design this app to create a sense of community and also help user adopt healthier lifestyle habits? For the next phase, I went through competitive analysis. I analyzed 10 type 1 diabetes management apps and 5 mental health apps. And for the type 1 diabetes apps, as you can see, the interface does not look very good. And all of them were focusing on the medical aspects, like the literature review proved as well. None of them were focusing on the emotional aspects of living with type 1 diabetes. So after the competitive analysis, I took out a few features from each category that I thought would be beneficial for my own app. I also created user personas to have a broader audience in mind while designing an application. They're all high school students based on my target audience. And I also did scenario mapping, user journey mapping, and finally, I created an information architecture with all of the app features that I will show you. I will go through them when I show you the app. So then I started the branding process. For my brand name, I combined the name glucose plus mood, and then combined them together and created glucose. And I thought this is a fun name for my target audience, while also showing the functionality of the app. And I wanted my brand voice to be fun, colorful, friendly, while also calm, supportive, and relaxing. These are some of the process that I went through for designing my logo, and then this is the final logo design. And I created a custom board mark with a combination of circles and round shapes to create a friendly vibe, and also an icon, which is a happy, smiley G with a continuous glucose monitor on its body. These are some of the alternative usage of the logo and a mock-up of how the logo will be used as the app icon. For my primary typeface, I chose a standard typeface so that people could easily read through everything. But for my secondary typeface, typeface or the titles. I chose two different typefaces that had more characteristics to make the visuals more appealing. My main colors are green and purple, and I did research on the colors that creates a sense of calm and relaxations in the viewer, and green and purple were among them, especially green because it resembles the nature. These are some of the icons that I use throughout the app. These are my brand patterns, which are just simple illustrations of diabetes related stuff, and I have them in both line drawing and field color. These are some of the examples of how the brand pattern could be used in real life, and this is an over patch for the continuous glucose monitoring that we attach to our body to have real-time reading of the blood glucose level. And these are some of the illustrations that I used throughout the app design, and this is the final application. So when you first open the app, this is the logo motion. And then when you first download the app, we have some onboarding pages to welcome the users to the app and introduce them to the app environment. And then I take a test from the users to get to know them a little bit more. And just ask them a few questions, and based on their answers, the app can customize its experience for the user. And then for the homepage, I created a simple landscape illustrations, and the color of the landscape will change based on the time of the day. And this is very important for a person living with type 1 diabetes because of the medication that they have to take throughout the day or the food that they have to eat. And the circle here with the number is the current glucose reading, and it represents the sun or the moon in the landscape based on the time of the day. And its location will also change. It will go up and down based on the number that it's showing. So up here, I have the mood entry feature. And when they click here, they can move this scale to select the mood that they're currently feeling, and it will also record their current glucose level and the time and the day. And if they're experiencing any additional emotions, they can click here and go through positive, neutral, or negative emotions, and then change additional emotions and click save. And they also have the option to add a note here and save their mood. Here I have diabetes management section, and again, I have the current glucose reading and the chart of their glucose reading, and they have the option to change the range of the amount of time that they want to see the readings chart. And I have a quote based on their glucose reading and some other options for managing the type 1 diabetes. And here I have the mental health section. And at the top, I have meditations, recommendation, and again, the chart of their mood entries, and also the history of their mood entries and history of their journal entries. And these are the visuals of the meditation section. And this is the game sections. I did not design every game individually, but I'm proposing to have a game section to have educational and transformational games to teach the users about type 1 diabetes management. For example, a game that would teach them about carb counting or the benefits of exercise. And hopefully with this game section, we can foster healthier lifestyle habits in the users. And then finally, I have the community section where they can connect to others and share their experiences. And when they come here, they can see the posts of people that they're following. They can also write a post themselves and also search for different topics and read about them. Thank you so much for listening.